Hello, and welcome back to Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 64 of Was I in the Wrong? Here on the Misty Morrison Podcast, we love to read or listen. We love to give advice, help people look back on their situations with that 2020 vision to see how they could have handled the situation more gracefully, or just get an external opinion on a situation they're going through now. Before we get into the stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. Everything can help build the dream. If you are watching or listening on podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. Otherwise, like, comment with your thoughts on stories down below. Subscribe for more, share it with a friend, all the things. Long-form content goes live every Tuesday and Thursday, and short-form goes live 3 times daily across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Before we get into the stories for the day, guys, I'm so mad at myself. This has never happened before. I normally record 2 episodes at a time before I transfer the videos to my computer to go edit. Well, I had removed my shotgun mic from my camera to go do pictures for a friend. And when I put it back on, I mounted it, I plugged it in, or so I thought. I recorded 2 episodes and I just went to put them on my computer. I was going to edit one before I leave for the day because this needs to go up tomorrow at 6 a.m. So and I'm going to be gone until 9 o'clock tonight. So I thought I was going to be all productive, get off work early, edit, do all the things. And then I opened it up in my editing app, and there's no sound. It is quiet as can be. So I checked the second video that I recorded, no sound. So I come in here and check, and while I had plugged in the microphone, I didn't plug it all the way in. So this week's episodes, episode 64 of Was I in the Wrong and episode 53 of Petty Please, are not going to be blind reactions because I still want to give you the same stories I already read, but I have no way to go back and get the audio. And now I see why people have their monitor headphones to make sure that their audio is really going through. Yeah. So I'm going to reread stories that I already read, but you guys haven't heard yet because I had to scrap a 27-minute video and a 21-minute video. Yeah, it's rough out here. So let's get into our stories. I'm so sad because I feel like for Was I in the Wrong, I had some really good thoughts on there. Ugh. I'm so mad at myself. I don't know. I don't think I can, because I don't have an external mic. Well, I do, but it's mounted to the camera, so I don't know that there's a way for me to hook up headphones to monitor. If there is, I'm probably going to start doing that, though. Okay, I gotta find my stories. Okay, story number 1 is coming to us from r/AIO. AIO, hubby being controlling. I've got it flipped up portrait style, my iPad, you can see it here. I've got flipped up portrait instead of landscape. I kind of like my viewpoint, I like this better, but I did it this way because this story has screenshots of text messages in it. I don't normally do stories that are picture-based, but I caught a glimpse of some while I was scrolling Reddit, and I decided I had to read it. So here we are. I'll read the text first, and then I'll go back and read the text messages and the screenshots. My husband and I are expecting our first child soon, and all future discussions turn into him having the final say. He wants me to homeschool, and I'm unsure about wanting to. He said if I don't homeschool, then he will resent me the rest of our lives. He said it's our responsibility to teach our kid. Then when I mentioned swim lessons, he said no. He said we don't need a professional to teach our kid to swim. I know these are far in the future, but the fact that he is not allowing me to have a say is scaring me. If I am a stay-at-home mom, he will have 100% financial control. He even said he gets to make the decisions. I'm really scared for me and my son's future dealing with him being this controlling even before he's born. Also, he said I was being combative, but I actually feel like he was. Am I overreacting? So now we'll read the screenshots. It starts off with a picture of, it looks like a swim center. There's kids and grown-ups like learning how to swim in the water. So I'll say hubby when it's husband's part and OP when it's our original poster's part. Hubby, so much pee and poo in that water. OP, chlorine sanitizes it, LOL. We have to do swim lessons for him. Hubby, at home in a baby pool or the tub. OP, what about when he's older? Won't be deep enough, plus we aren't professional instructors. Hubby, don't need professional instructors. We live in Bumpus, there's a lake. OP, I'd like to have an instructor. There's also more pee and poo in the lake. Hubby, I'm saying no to instructor. That costs money to teach a kid to kick their feet and don't inhale water. They don't need to be Michael Phelps. OP, having a kid costs money, LOL. I'm not trained to teach swimming. Hubby, fun fact, you're really never trained for anything. Professionals fail all the time. Don't need a swim instructor or swim classes. OP, I would like to do it for him. Hubby, I'm not shelling out money to have some other person teach my kid how to swim. I'm not in the business of paying other people to take on my parental responsibilities. If there's something to teach our child, we teach it. If he decides to be a professional in whatever we've taught, at some point he gets professional training. Until then, be a parent and put in the work. OP, it's our kid, by the way, not just yours. I get a say too. Hubby, then stay employed and pay for it. And stop running to your mom when I refuse financial responsibility for something a parent should be able to handle. OP, you can pay for it. You wanted to be the provider. It's not that expensive. It's worth it to have a professional teach them. Hubby, no. OP, yes. You don't get the final say. Hubby, with financial decisions, ultimately, I do. You have an opinion and your voice will be heard, but unfortunately, the decision is mine. OP, doing swim lessons doesn't mean we aren't being engaged parents. Hubby, you knew this going into all of this. We agreed to exactly what we're talking about. If anyone should be asking questions, it's me. Why are you changing your tune? Why am I all of a sudden getting pushback? OP, okay, fine, no swim lessons. To which hubby gave a thumbs up. OP, what if I save money from what I have now? Hubby, no, it's not just about the money. It's like you read half of what I said and focused on it. It's our responsibility as parents to teach our child to do things. OP, but they are trained on techniques that we aren't. It's okay to have help. It doesn't make us bad parents. Hubby, okay, my mistake for trying to give you training behind my no, because you seem to get more combative the longer our conversations go. I'll keep my answer simple. No. And that's it. That is it. So, no, OP, you're right. You are not overreacting. If anything, you are vastly underreacting because this is such a scary situation. As someone who has worked in domestic violence before, I'm worried for you. You should be worried about you and your son's future dealing with him because this seems like the kind of personality type that can get very scary. Honestly, I would leave now. Get out, leave, and don't tell him where you're going because it seems like he is so controlling. He will do whatever he can to control you, including using your child to control you. And if he can't control you, even with the child, he will at the very least want to control the child, and he will make your life hell in the court system trying to work out a custody agreement, and I think he will lie and manipulate. He seems like the kind of personality type who can easily be very manipulative. Truly, I think you need to leave, get out, and not tell him where you're going. Just disappear. Because this situation sounds very, very unsafe. Saying you have an opinion and your voice will be heard, but ultimately the decision is mine, then no, your opinion's not being heard. Because he's literally saying, well, I'll listen to you, but it's not going to affect anything. I'm not going to take your opinion into consideration. I am king. That is what he's saying. Everything like he's trying to do is pushing you to be fully dependent on him, where later on, it's impossible for you to leave. that is what I feel like his goal is, ultimate control. I'm worried for you, and I hope you get out safely and quickly. It will be easier for you to leave, I think, before the baby's born, if you can. So we're going to read some comments. There's several gold box comments on this post. First one says, I'm more worried about him blatantly telling you that he'll resent you forever if you don't homeschool your child. Did you plan this kid together? Did he say that before you got pregnant? I'm sorry you feel stuck in this situation, but it seems like it's not going to get much better from here. Next one says, probably only wants her to homeschool, so she's stuck with a kid all day and night, so she can't do anything for herself. Next one says, yep, he wants them isolated. No job, no school, not even swim lessons, which both of my kids did, and they are both better swimmers than I am because they learn from a professional. And the next one, I feel like kind of echoes what I said. Says this, OP, this is scary and you should be taking it very seriously. This man wants complete control over your life, and he's made it clear that you're not an equal in that relationship. He's the boss, you do as he tells you. You want your kid to be raised like this? Do you want to leave your entire future in the hands of this guy? Edit, thank you very much for the awards. And while I'm gratified that most people on this post understand how screwed up this situation is, it's scary that I've had a few people message me that they don't see anything wrong with this. And the last comment I'll read says, it's not even that. He doesn't want to have to F with any of it. He wants to be the money, she be the providence. Yeah. It's a scary situation, and especially the part where this reply says you want your kid to be raised like this is a really good point, because I've noticed that like with boys, if they have their dad in their life, dad is cool and they want to be like dad. Yes, they can learn a lot from mom, but they understand that dad's a boy, they're a boy. They ultimately want to be like dad. And it's really hard to train genetics out of a child, out of a person. And if they're not only have the genetics, but being raised in that environment where dad thinks he's always right, where dad is in control, where dad gets all the say, all the opinions, your son's not going to grow up, no matter what you do. It's going to be really hard to get your son to grow up respecting women and understanding that he doesn't get the ultimate say. Like, if he's going to be in a relationship, his partner should be his equal. You're not going to be able to convince your son that him and a partner should be equals when he saw your relationship with his dad and his dad was the king. That children really learn best from what they see, not what we tell them. And so if you stay in this relationship and raise your son in this environment, you are modeling for him that it is okay for a man to control a woman, that it is okay for the husband to be king and not take the wife's thoughts or opinions or wants into consideration at all. That is what your child will learn in this environment. Yeah. Scary, scary situation. Okay. Even the second time around, that still makes me see red. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/pick A or B. A or B. I got laid off Monday afternoon, and 4 hours later, my college roommate was at my door with a backpack and his laptop saying he could work from anywhere this week. Do I tell him it meant something or just leave it alone? I got laid off Monday afternoon, said the professional things on the call and thanked everyone and kept my voice steady until it ended. And then I stood in my kitchen for a minute like I was waiting for another email to come in and undo it. I texted a couple people, just quick updates, and he replied almost immediately with, I'm coming. And I told him not to be dumb because it's a 3-hour flight and it was already mid-afternoon and people have jobs. And he just said, I know, and stopped responding. He knocked on my door about 4 hours later with a carry-on in his laptop bag and said, I can work from anywhere this week. Like it was just a scheduling thing, and he sat up at my table, opened his computer, put on headphones, and started taking calls. He didn't ask what my plan was or how I was holding up or give me advice. He just worked, made coffee, ordered food, and asked if I wanted anything. And we spent Monday night and all of Tuesday mostly in the same room, him on Zoom, me sending resumes and refreshing job boards more times than I want to admit. And at some point, I started talking about how the last few months had been going, and he just listened and didn't try to turn it into a fix. I dropped him off at the airport this morning before traffic picked up, and we stood there for a second by the curb. Didn't hug because that's not really our thing. And he just said, text me later, grabbed his bag, and walked inside. I drove back to my place and almost texted him something more than, let me know when you land. But I didn't, and now I'm sitting here wondering if I should just say it mattered, or if that makes it bigger than it needs to be. A, tell him, keep it simple. B, don't say anything. Next time it's my turn to show up. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to go A, tell him, keep it simple, with a little side of B. I like the ending of B that says next time it's my turn to show up. So that's my answer. Tell him, keep it simple, and know that in your own mind that when something happens in his life and he needs support, you will show up for him. This friend, this college roommate, is a once-in-a-lifetime friend, I feel like. It is so rare to find a friend who will value you enough to just up and drop everything, take a flight, spend their money to come make sure you're okay, that you don't have to go through a hard time alone. That's so rare and so impressive. And I think it's important. I read something recently where someone said, take the opportunities that you can as they arise to let people know that you appreciate them, because it matters. So often we're just going through our day to day. We're not thinking about things really deep. And so often people don't feel appreciated, or they feel underappreciated because no one takes the time to tell them that they are, to say something. So I think it's so important. You can, if you don't want to say it over the phone to have to get the words out, you can text it. That's fine. But I think it's important that you just say, hey, thanks for coming. It meant a lot to me. It mattered. I really appreciate it. That's all you have to say. It doesn't have to get sappy. You just let him know that you appreciate what a good friend he was to you in that moment when you really needed a friend. Because I think it's important to try to be the friend that we want to have. And I think that starts with showing your appreciation or saying your appreciation. And then, yes, once you say it, it's done. And when he has a moment that he needs help, you will be that friend for him and you will be there. That's amazing. Okay. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITA weddings. AITA if I don't invite fiance's sister to the bridal shower. Okay, it starts with an edit, but the original post is separate. So we're going to read the original post first. I'll give my thoughts, and then we'll read the edit. Original post. We're a couple in our late 30s, getting married September 2026. For context, my fiance's sister is a really not nice person. Since I've been dating and now engaged to him, she's just never been nice to me. Has made zero effort to get to know me, is snappy and rude, will ignore texts, etc. We're not really involving her in the wedding, mostly because of how she behaves. But her kids are going to be flower girl / ring bearer with other 2 nieces and nephews. Yesterday she texted me saying that the timing of the wedding is inconvenient, and it's a really busy time of year for work for her. For context, I'm a physician, so I understand a busy schedule. However, it is a multi-day destination Indian wedding in Canada. They are US-based, so I do understand taking PTO is not ideal. We gave everyone save the dates a year ago, and the family knew 1.5 years ago when we had booked everything. I'm just at a point where I'm super pissed off and just want to avoid her at all costs. I really don't care if she comes. I'm not even going on the family trip this year because I just really dislike his siblings in general. My fiancé of course cares, but they are not super close. He would definitely be hurt if she didn't come, but he's way more concerned about the kids coming and is super fond of them. After her comments yesterday about the inconvenience of the wedding on her plans and job, I just don't want to invite her to my bridal shower. I doubt she'll be able to come anyway, but there's a part of me that just doesn't want to invite her to make a point. I'm inviting fiancé's mother, who is lovely. Thoughts? I also have my fiancé's brother's sister to invite, but she genuinely won't care, so I was thinking of just inviting his mom. Obviously, don't want to cause more problems, though. Initial reaction, You are right. You are not the asshole for not wanting her to come. You're not close. You're not close. She doesn't treat you well. But primarily, the thing that makes this different for me is because this is your bridal shower, not your wedding. And I feel like the whole point of a bridal shower is like one last hurrah, like to go and have fun. Kind of the classier version of a bachelorette trip in my mind. Your bridal shower is for you and the girls to have a good day doing wedding things. In my mind, for a bridal shower, you invite, maybe moms, maybe siblings or sisters and best friends or anyone who's in your bridal party, like your bridesmaids and your maid of honor. If sister-in-law is not a part of the wedding, her kids are, she's not. If sister-in-law is not a part of the wedding, she's not in your bridal party, you're not close to her, I see no reason to invite her to your wedding. Certainly everyone knows that she's not nice to you, so they wouldn't expect her to be at your bridal shower. So in my mind, if you don't want her there, don't invite her. I remember when I was getting married, people asked me, like, there was one certain person, they're like, oh, aren't you inviting? No, because I don't want her to come. And if I invite her, there's a chance that she will come. So I think don't invite people that you don't want to attend something, point blank, in general. If it was the wedding, it would be a little different, but because it's your bridal shower, I feel like it's more of a small, intimate occasion. She doesn't need to be there. On to the edit. Edit. I've appreciated everyone's insight and will be inviting her. Thank you all for your advice. I wasn't expecting this to blow up like this. For those hating on me for identifying my profession as a doctor, it was purely to provide context that I am also a busy professional. It's difficult when you're a very busy person to hear that someone is too busy to accommodate you, when you've accommodated them despite your busy schedule. I don't look down on admin people, and I don't not like her because of her job or look down on her. I don't like her because she's rude and mean and a spiteful person. If anything, she has always acted like she's better than me, and this was just the cherry on top of 2 years of painful interactions. My fiance and I have gone out of our way for her and their family many times, and it's hurtful to hear that when it's our time to ask for something inconvenient, it's told to her face in a rude way. I have no intention of pushing her to attend. My partner has always been supportive of me and knows his siblings are problematic. I was upset and didn't want to invite her to the bridal shower because my feelings were hurt in the moment. I will be the bigger person and extend the invite. Good for you being the bigger person. So when I read these stories blind and I give my initial reaction, for this one, I tried to react exactly as I did initially. So when I give my initial reaction to these stories, I'm not taking time to really sit with it and reflect on it. I'm just truly reacting to it. Let me go read a comment, the first comment, and then I'll come back. Okay, so the first comment says, she might be a jerk, but you're in for a world of shit from your in-laws if you exclude her from the shower. It won't make a point if you purposely don't invite her. It will be a point of no return in the relationship. You're not going to change her or make her see the error of her ways. Invite her. If she doesn't show up, great, and you'll come out looking classy. But if she shows up, just say, hi, thanks for coming, and then walk away. You're not going to spend any significant time with her at the party anyway, so it's not worth causing a family feud by not inviting her. On the slight off chance that she causes a scene, kindly ask a bridesmaid or the site manager to have her escorted out. As far as any annoying comments about the wedding, don't discuss them with her. Just say something like, I know you're busy, we'd love to have you there, but if not, we understand. And then change the subject or walk away. If she's just annoying or a downer, all you can do is ignore her if you want to maintain a decent relationship with her and the rest of your in-laws. Accept that you will never be friends, be cordial to her whenever you're forced to spend time with her, and practice some neutral phrases like, sorry you feel that way, to respond to her when she gets to be too much. If it gets to the point of direct disrespect or insults, then your fiancé, not you, needs to tell her firmly to cut it out. If you and your fiancé make the decision that she should no longer be a part of your life, then he has to tell her that, and the rest of his family as well. That likely means the end of his relationship with his nieces, so tread carefully. And if it's not a need-to-know situation, don't bother texting her. If it is something important, your fiancé should text or call her, but you don't need to text her wedding plans if she's not directly involved. And then someone replied and said, "This is the way. By not responding to her garbage and her possibly escalating makes you look classy and her look deranged." OP replied and said, "Love this. Super helpful. Thank you for your comment." So I really love this comment. Having had time to think about it and see another perspective, I agree entirely with this comment. You should invite her. So at work, at my job, I have a consultant that I get to work with. And his primary goal, function, purpose is building and maintaining relationships and problem solving. And I naturally do not come at things at a building or maintaining relationships standpoint. Very individualistic viewpoints here. So over a couple of years of working with him, now when I encounter a situation that my natural reaction is rather harsh. And like, I want to call this person out. I want everyone to know they're wrong. Because no one likes to be mistreated like that. The natural reaction can be call them out, make a point, whatever. So now, after a couple of years of working with this consultant, I have my initial internal reaction, and then I take a break, walk away, step back, think about it, and I look at it through a different lens. And I ask myself, what would Michael do in this situation? How would he respond? How would he handle it? Because his viewpoint is so different than mine. So I can calm down and try to look at it through the not being dishonest to myself, not being a doormat, but also maintaining relationships, professional relationships. I can separate myself and look at it through this lens to kind of be calmer and more civil and classier. That is something that I've grown into, and I really like it. So yeah, like my initial reaction, I still think you're not wrong for the way that you feel in not wanting her to come. But I do agree that inviting her is the best choice, especially because you do want to maintain those relationships with the nieces, despite the fact that sister-in-law is awful. Yeah, I agree with this comment entirely. Invite her. If she doesn't show up, that's fantastic. If she does come, hi, thanks for coming, and then you're done with her for the day. That's really all you need to do. And that kind of helps maintain that relationship long term with the nieces, despite the fact that you really don't want anything to do with her. It makes you look good that you were the bigger person and invited her, even though sometimes it doesn't feel good to be the bigger person. But long term, it makes you look better when you're the bigger person. Okay, that is 3 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? Take 2. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison podcast. Remember, kindness changes everything. Give others the grace you would like to receive. And I will see you next time for another episode. Bye, guys.